What is up and welcome back. Pete Sweeney here with your Emerald Coast relocation team. We've heard so many of you who have reached out who want to take advantage of Destin but don't necessarily want to live inside of Destin. We're going to bring up the cost of living for a city that's just near there. Might be a great option for you. Let's go. The city that we're going to be talking about today and actually comparing some of those costs of living is Niceville, Florida. And it's just north of Destin. I know technically this is not in the Emerald Coast. When we are talking about all the cities that are in the Emerald Coast, you're talking about pretty much Pensacola Beach all the way over to Panama City. This is just north. And if you're looking at getting over to Niceville from Destin, you're looking at probably like a 45-minute drive without the toll. That's when you take the long way around near the Air Force Base. Or you can take that toll and it'll take you a little bit less than 30 minutes. If this is your first time watching one of our cost of living videos, what we like to do is use the cost of living index. Now I will say we are going to break into those real estate prices towards the later portion of this video, but right now we'll use the cost of living index where 100 is your national average. If it's above that, obviously it's more expensive. If it's below that, then it's cheaper than your national average. And what we use is bestliving.com, I believe is what it is. I always misquote this. Pretty sure it's bestliving.com. And what we do is we do the overall where it groups everything into one. Looking at Niceville, you got a 109.1 as compared over to Destin, you got a 120.9. So definitely much cheaper in regards to all these items linked into one for your cost of living. In fact, if we really want to break into the numbers, it's 10.8% cheaper than living in Destin. Like I said, Destin is an amazing spot. They have amazing beaches there. Yes, Niceville is not on the ocean like Destin is, but if you are planning on moving down into the Emerald Coast with a family and don't want to be near that tourist attraction of Destin, Niceville might be a great spot. Before I break into a lot of these other costs, I will say that if you are looking for that suburbia style living more so than the beach living, this might be a great option for you. Niceville and a few of these other cities that we will cover in future videos with more of that suburbia feel than the beach living of a lot of these Emerald Coast cities. And that's why we wanted to cover this area. The first item in the group of cost of living that we're going to be talking about is your food and groceries. And this isn't too much different over in Niceville as compared to Destin, but it does follow that rule that we always talk about, that once you take the bridge pretty much over the bay, your groceries are typically a lot more expensive along the Emerald Coast as opposed to living on the mainland of Florida. So if we look at Niceville, you're looking at a cost of living index of 103, where if you go over to Destin, it's a 105.3, and that's 2.2% cheaper than being over in Destin. So it's really not that big of a deal. I'm guessing that it just has something to do with that the transportation of getting food out to Destin as opposed to Niceville, and even potentially the toll that you have to take to get out of Destin. Some of those truckers might be using that, so they have to tack on a little bit more in regards to shipping your groceries out to Destin opposed to Niceville. The next cost that we're going to be breaking into is your housing. And when we talk about our housing, essentially what this is talking about is if you decide to purchase a house over in Niceville or if you decide to rent a place over in Niceville. We're talking about whether it's single family, attached, condo, townhouse, row home, apartments. So all those lumped into one sum on the cost of living index, you're looking at a 127.2. So definitely more than your national average, but it is cheaper than Destin, where Destin you're looking at a 162.8. Obviously, with Destin being the tourist attraction that it is going to be a little bit more expensive over there. You got a lot of tourists who are flooding into Destin, want to take advantage of those properties, those rental properties. You got short-term properties over there, so that cost of living will be a little bit more expensive. In fact, Niceville is 28% cheaper in regards to housing. Now let's break that down. So if you are looking at purchasing a house over in Niceville as compared to Destin, let's throw you those medium sales prices for your overall. We're talking about your attached and your detached products lumped into one sum, your single family, and then also your attached, your condos, townhouses, and row homes. Before doing so, guys, do me a huge favor. If you are loving this content, why don't you go ahead and smash that subscribe button, maybe give us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every single time that we put out brand new videos. If you are planning on purchasing real estate in the Emerald Coast, and I guess some of the outlying areas since we are covering Niceville today, give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. All right, let's break into those median sales prices. So then if we're looking at purchasing, like I said, overall, we're lumping the attached and your single family all into one. You got a median sales price of $535,000. Now, what does that look like compared to Destin? You're looking at a median sales price of $620,000. So that's a pretty large gap. Like I said, you got some nice, short-term rental properties and stuff. Destin's a lot more popular. You can expect the fact that the real estate's gonna be a little bit more expensive over there. Quick note on this, I will say that Niceville is not the cheapest option if you plan on living in a city outside of Destin that is not within Destin. There are a few these other ones that do have that lower median sales price on your overall products. We do cover that with the cost of living over in Fort Walton. I'd highly recommend checking that video out, kind of see what the median sales prices are happening for the houses over at Fort Walton Beach. Now let's break into your single family homes. If you're looking at purchasing a single family home over in Niceville, you're looking at a median sales price of $570,000. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your overall product because you're removing the attached product out of that. If you're going over into Destin, you're looking at a median sales price of your single family product of $645,000. So definitely more expensive. There's not as big of a gap as those overall products, and here's the reason why. Let's break into those attached numbers. So attached again is your condos, townhouses, and row homes within these two cities. If you're planning on purchasing that over in Niceville, you're looking at a median sales price of $267,000. Huge difference, and that is what's really driving that overall number down a little bit. If you're looking at buying that attached product over in Destin, you're looking at a median sales price of $540,000. Like I mentioned, tourist attraction. You have luxury condos right on the ocean front. So those are definitely going to be a lot more expensive over in Destin as compared to Niceville. The next one we're going to break into, which I tried researching this a little bit to figure out why this number was a little bit more expensive in Niceville, but we're going to be talking about your utilities. What's it going to cost for you to heat and or cool your house? I mean, majority of the time in Florida, right? What we're doing here is we're having to cool our houses.
I'm baking like a toasted cheese here. It's so hot here.
What does that cost with the cost of living index over in Niceville? You're looking at 106.9. If we go over to Destin, you're looking at a 103.4, so it's definitely cheaper over in Destin in regards to utilities as opposed to Niceville. Like I said, I tried digging in to kind of figure out why this is. I couldn't really find anything concrete as to why it's a little bit, I mean, it's just 3 points. It's not too big of a difference. I think it's like 3.3% more than Destin, but still just something that we want to throw out there. You know, you might be paying a little bit more in utilities to heat and or cool your house over in Niceville. The next item that we're going to be talking about is your transportation. This is another one where it's actually more expensive over in Niceville. If we look at that cost of living index over in Niceville, it is a 96.2 as compared to Destin. You're looking at a 93.3. What does that transport mean? It pretty much means, you know, the gas for your car, the maintenance on your car, the servicing, the car insurance, all that stuff kind of grouped into this one number. It is going to be a little bit more expensive in Niceville as opposed to Destin. This next one is actually just level between the two. So if you're looking at your healthcare over in Niceville as compared to Destin, you're looking at a 104.2 in both of the cities on the cost of living index. What I've experienced a lot back when we lived in Colorado is that a lot of these systems are shared amongst similar cities. That might be a big reason why, is that they share the similar healthcare systems in those two cities, and so the healthcare costs probably aren't much different from one city to the other. The final item that we're going to be covering in regards to the cost of living of Niceville as compared to Destin is your miscellaneous. What is your miscellaneous? We're talking about going to those boutiques, right? Going out shopping, restaurants, pretty much all those other things that we did not discuss. And this one is actually where both cities are level at, right at 100.4. So very similar. It's kind of interesting. I thought for sure this might be a little bit more expensive over in Destin since you have more of that tourist attraction spot where they typically do charge a little bit more for your restaurants and your clothing that's out there. It's interesting to see that they are a wash though, and they're both pretty much even along that cost of living index. All right guys, glad we could bring this video to you. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it so much. If you are finding that this content is valuable to you and you want it to be spread out to everyone else that might be able to find this content valuable as well, do us a huge favor, smash the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and the notification bell. That way you're notified every single time we put out a brand new video. If you are looking at purchasing real estate in the Emerald Coast and surrounding areas, give us a call or text the phone number right below. Right below right there, we put together one of the top relocation teams in this area to kind of help out because we went through some pain points. When we came here, we're like, all right, cool, you know, this could have been done better, this could have been done better. So we found the top experts to help you out with all your real estate needs here in the Emerald Coast and the free state of Florida. Until next time, we love you. Bye.